Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Anime Initiative, comicbook.com's favorite and only place where we talk anime, manga, webtoons, culture, and more. My name is Megan Peters, and I am your host of this show alongside my dear friends and coworkers, Evan Valentine and Nick Valdez.
Hey, everybody.
Howdy, everybody.
Hello. Well, it's a busy time. It's a busy time in anime land. If you did not realize, July has started. And that means the summer season has officially begun in the anime world. The summer season is here, and our episode today will be dedicated to our summer 2024 season breakdown. Nick here did a wonderful write-up breaking all of this down, so you can check that out on comicbook.com for reference after listening to this episode. But we have a lot to talk about, not just about summer shows that are going live in the next, couple days at this point. But the spring season's over. And in like the last several days of the spring season, a billion things got announced. Truly, the anime news cycle is the circle and the gift that keeps on giving. It never stops. It keeps on going. So we're going to start out this episode just talking about just some general news, some of the biggest stuff in anime land right now. And then the second half of our show, we will be talking about summer premieres. So let's get things started with some brand new breaking news, essentially, that came live 30 minutes before this episode began recording. McDonald's really is entering its dare I say weeb era. It is really doubling down on anime, and it has announced a collaboration with Jujutsu Kaisen, of all things.
It's wild. It's wild.
Cool.
That's
cool.
So here's
that's cool. They've done Rick and Morty and stuff in the past, and we saw what happened with that sauce. So I'm hoping just as a general thing before we even get into it, I hope Jujutsu Kaisen fans could just maybe behave themselves a little better.
Yeah. Don't be walking. I mean, if you want to cosplay to get this collaboration, please do. I encourage it. Don't try to domain expansion or blood manipulate anybody who's working at McDonald's. They aren't paid enough to deal with it. But yeah, for those watching, if you did not know, Jujutsu Kaisen McDonald's are officially collaborating on July 9th on the McDonald's app. You'll be able to get limited edition special grade garlic sauces that are all themed to Jujutsu Kaisen. So if you want to spice up your chicken nuggies, this is the way to do it. I have to admit, I'm a little bit disappointed because I really wanted a Happy Meal. I wanted a JoJo Happy Meal so bad. I knew it wasn't going to happen. That requires so much preparation and licensing and commitment. So the sauces make sense in the fact that Jujutsu Kaisen is massive, but also why aren't they doing this when season 3 comes out or something?
That's true.
I'm confused about the timing of this release.
We're one step closer to that stuff, right? This feels kind of in that same vein of first we get sauces, then maybe a Happy Meal toy, or maybe a collectible cup or something, and then little by little we get that little extra stuff.
I'm genuinely surprised that McDonald's is going with Jujutsu Kaisen, because I was actually talking with my wife about this last night, that this doesn't seem like, Megan, I know you wanted a Happy Meal, but Jujutsu Kaisen does not seem like Happy Meal material in terms of
look, it absolutely is. Can
you show a kid?
Meal, I can get a Jujutsu Kaisen Happy Meal.
Is the Shibuya incident arc an all ages affair? I don't know. I don't think so. There's a lot of things that happen in that.
It is for children, so that's the thing. It is run in a children's magazine. So as much as we are old heads about it, and I'm double the age of the audience for Jujutsu Kaisen. So it is for kids. So it's not the. Remember, it's not the Happy Meal. Was it the Mighty Meal or something like that? Was it McDonald's that did the one that was a little bit older? It was it wasn't a cheeseburger. It was a double cheeseburger. And it was either Mighty Kids or maybe that was Burger King. One of these restaurants did
thinking about.
Yeah. It's that one we need for Jujutsu Kaisen. It's cool. And this falls in line with what Megan said in a previous episode too about, or maybe we didn't talk about this, or maybe it was just written up, but whatever, it's in my cloud brain. But Jujutsu Kaisen's huge with like the current gen of anime watchers, right? Like this Gen Alpha.
Gen Z is eating
Yeah.
up Jujutsu Kaisen.
Really, if McDonald's doesn't make chicken nuggets in the shape of Sukuna's fingers, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Oh no, like even those like chicken fries things at Burger
Oh
King.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you
like,
can do that.
So many opportunities. Look, McDonald's, hit us up. I have some excellent cuisine ideas to really bring home this collaboration. But yes, it is official. McDonald's is a confirmed otaku. It had its anime earlier this year in Japan. Right now, it's teamed up with Kiki's delivery service, and now we have McDonald's x Jujutsu Kaisen. So let that just resonate. You'll be able to order those sauces on the app for a limited time on July 9th. So if you taste those garlic sauces, that special grade garlic sauce, let us know what it tastes like. I'm going to see if I can try to get it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some for the show. Yeah, we're gonna have to get some to do taste tests.
We will do a fine cuisine sampling. So, with that news out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about another pop culture phenomenon for Jujutsu Kaisen, because the hits keep coming and they don't stop coming. My favorite person in the world at this point, Megan Thee Stallion, has released her new album, which is Megan, which of course I have to love. As a fellow Megan,
I mean, clearly you are required.
Clearly, I have to. Could not be more different from the queen herself, but I stand nonetheless. The album is phenomenal, but it does have what is now the most viral song I have seen on TikTok in ages. Megan Thee Stallion has released the single "Otaku Hot Girl," which not only samples music from Jujutsu Kaisen, but it features the English dub voice actor introing the song that plays Yuji Itadori. It's full of Jujutsu Kaisen references. Literally the entire chorus is about Gojo, which is, I can't even tell you how many times I've listened to this song. It's not embarrassing because I'm not ashamed of it, but it's a lot.
No, and that's the thing too, right? If someone like Megan Thee Stallion is such an open fan, I don't want to hear nothing about like anime being like niche or like a subculture anymore. It's literally mainstream. There's a chance that this song could chart, and once it does, like, come on, I don't want to hear anything about that anymore. We are here. And like, acknowledge us.
Literally the definition of "notice me, senpai."
Yeah.
It was a cringe joke for a while. Now it's coming full circle. When this happened, when this song went live, when the album released, poor Evan was on the desk writing for ComicBook, and I just sent him this, and I was like, "You have no choice. You don't
have to tell me twice."
I mean, it's so good. Literally the day that the album dropped, every single person I encountered that day, because I was one of my husband's close friends, it was his birthday, so we went to a big birthday party, and I just kept going up to different people, and I was like, "Hey, did you hear Megan Thee Stallion has a new album? You want to hear a banger from it?" And everyone loved it, whether or not they knew what Jujutsu Kaisen was or not. I'm truly obsessed. Somebody needs to get a comment from Gege Akutami on his thoughts of this, because I mean, wild. Megan Thee Stallion samples music, features the English dub voice actor for Yuji Itadori, drops some excellent Jujutsu Kaisen references to Sukuna, Gojo, Itadori. And then, of course, there has to be a sexy no jutsu nod as well in there, because, of course. But I'm obsessed. We've talked a lot on ComicBook about hip hop and its real very close ties to the anime community, the manga community, and I will never not be supportive of saying this kind of stuff, especially when the song is so good. It's so addictive. If you've not listened to it, I 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, right? Listen
Yeah.
to it while you're getting your McDonald's sauces. Like this is
Truly, at this
yeah,
point, like,
this is huge. It's
legitimately,
huge.
It's a Jujutsu
that's the
Kaisen
plan.
world.
Yeah,
So
this is huge.
yeah, no, it is everything I could have wanted and more. So, if you haven't listened to Megan by Megan the Stallion, I, as Megan, also recommend the Meganception here today. So,
Megan approved.
moving on from pop culture and sadly moving on from Jujutsu Kaisen, uh, Netflix's One Piece is just blowing up everything on social media right now. If you did not realize, we did talk about this in our episode last week. Netflix's One Piece season 2 has officially started production. Netflix released a really cute behind the scenes video of the cast all reuniting in South Africa, which is where the show does film. We got so much more casting news. We have the casting situated for Walpole, and I'm so sorry, Evan, that you did not get
Evan
Danny
said.
DeVito
No.
in. I know
really,
you were
I'm
really
sure
you were really
the
banking
actors.
on that, and I'm very sorry. Unfortunately, Rob Coletti is going to be playing Walpole. Well, not unfortunately. He's gonna
No, he's gonna.
Yeah, he's
I'm
gonna
sure
kill
he'll
it,
be
right?
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
He's
gonna
gonna kill it. They've been knocking it out of the park when it comes to casting all the way along. So I'm sure he's gonna kill it. And who knows? Maybe Danny DeVito will get another role in the future. We'll see. I know that the cast of One Piece is really trying to get him on. So fingers
I mean,
crossed.
Yeah,
everybody.
they really want Danny DeVito on, and they really want John Cena on. So you know what?
yeah,
I'm
As
here for it.
Frankie, amazing casting.
John
Yeah,
Cena
if they-
as Frankie, I do accept.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But in terms of some of the other major casting, obviously Walpole is a major character that we've been, speculating about. But beyond that, most people were very interested in knowing about Smoker and Tashigi. Those are obviously two major characters that we'll be introduced to as we move into the Arabasta saga. So Callum Kerr or Kerr, I'm not sure how to say his name. Callum Kerr, Kerr. He will be playing Smoker, while Julie Rewald will be playing Tashigi. So we are slowly yet surely gathering a really excellent cast. Of course, everyone is super excited to see Smoker. I mean, come on. I mean, he's Smoker for a reason. Everybody smoke him if you got him. Like, come on, One Piece. But today, what was interesting is we got a brand new post from the Netflix One Piece team showcasing the episode 1 script that shows us what the episode title will be for the premiere. And it's called The Beginning and the End, which when I read that, I immediately was like, I've heard that before. I've heard it before, and I can't remember how I've heard it before. But for those who have read and or watched One Piece, you will know that the beginning and the end, that is an epitaph given to the city of Logetown. So
Mhm.
we are hurtling into the thick of things for season 2. So it seems like season 1's going to start off hot. It's going to bring the Straw Hat crew to Logetown, and no spoilers because that's not what we're about on this show. Unless we give explicit warning, the Straw Hats are gonna meet some interesting characters at Logetown. So I'm super excited. Man,
Yeah.
I'm just so ready. How are y'all feeling?
It's I like the casting decisions that they've made so far. Of course, like there are still giant characters that they haven't revealed as of yet. There's
true.
Ace, Vivi, Crocodile, Kureha, and of course Tony Chopper. Those are kind of the biggest ones that we don't know so far. I think I've mentioned it in the past, but I'm still super curious to see how they cram so many things into one season, because they start off in Logetown, Little Garden, Drum Island, Arabasta, and that's so much for that. Like each of those, well, maybe not Logetown, but like the others could technically like be their own seasons. So I'll be super anxious to see kind of how they put everything together with that. But like, there's a lot to look forward to with it.
That's on top of the original stuff, because I assume that after having spent so much time with like Kobe and that side of the story in season 1, we're likely going to get that carried over in season 2. And, with Buggy being so popular in season 1, we're likely going to get more of that. It's just at this point, I think the next major update we need, well, we don't need it, but we do need to know like an episode count, like an episode range. Are we dealing with 8 episodes here, like the first season? Did success push it to like 10, maybe even a
10.
12?
10 would be great.
Fit
Yeah.
so much
10
better.
10 would be perfect, right?
I
Yeah,
think
I
10
agree.
would really give it the space it needs, especially since we know that we're really going to have focus on the little garden, storyline. We know that we've been given characters like, Miss Valentine. We know Mr. Three is, we know these characters are going to be there, especially, setting up how important the Giants are going to be later on.
Oh yeah.
I would love 10 episodes. This is me asking Netflix for 10 episodes.
Yeah, I hope it's 10. I do hope it's 10. And like the casting's great. And if they ever want Danny DeVito, they can make it all the way to Dressrosa and make him Senior Pink, who's like one of the best characters in the franchise. So yeah, like
you could
Can I have Danny DeVito as Vegapunk?
Oh, cool. I was gonna go a little bit. I was gonna go into the middle between what both of you said and make him the Shogun of Wano.
That would be the
Orochi. You could also do him as that, but we'll see. Hey man, there are lots of opportunities.
One Piece is the gift, much like the anime news cycle. One Piece is that gift that keeps on giving. So, production has officially started. You can expect a ton more updates on season 2 as we get them here on this podcast and at comicbook.com. But to move on from One Piece, because again, like I said, we got a packed show today. Demon Slayer season 4 is over. We had the extended finale. We will get to that in a second to talk about our feelings. But first, the finale did end with confirmation of a rumor we mentioned on this podcast previously. The Demon Slayer anime will be ending with a movie trilogy. It will have not 1, not 2, but 3 movies to bring all the Infinity Castle, all the stuff with Muzan and the Demon Slayers and the Hashira to an end. We were given just like a little teeny little like poster teasing what's going to come with these films. We know for sure that Crunchyroll will be distributing these movies globally, except for some Asian countries, including Japan. So of course, I have to ask Nick how he feels about this. Our the resident here on this podcast that brings us all back to reality when it comes to Demon Slayer. What do you feel?
Okay.
How are you feeling?
So when this was announced, I did the necessary math, right? Like I did to make sure that, of course, for our jobs here and to like kind of scope out what the future looks like. And there are 44 chapters in the Infinity Castle arc, but there are 66 chapters before it all comes to an end. So there's actually a secret final arc after this that is the real kind of like, they could kind of mix it into this because, looking at the promotional materials and looking at the press release for this, there's a lot of talk about ends. And that kind of gets me in that headspace like, oh, are they going to end this? Are they going to like slip that final arc into this and just end it all with a movie trilogy? Because Evan and I were talking about this when it was announced. Like, it would feel weird to do this movie trilogy and then end it with the final season of the TV anime.
Yeah.
Like it would feel like a step backward for like right. And so that would mean like 22 chapters per movie, and it's doable considering like a lot of these chapters are fights. But when you look at the length of the season finale, which is about 3 chapters adapted and accounting for like 8 minutes of credits and then the 3 minutes of Muzan walking in the beginning, it's still like a solid like half hour of 3 chapters. And so if we're looking at like 90-minute movies here, or like that's a lot to get through, even if they're doing the 44. So that's where I'm sitting right now. Like, I'm sure they can do it, but I don't know if this is the end. It would feel like it, of course, it'd be a great way to do it, but I don't know. I'm still trying to think, is there something beyond this? So this is tough without like, I've already spoiled that there's still more after this, but like without getting into the why, Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about I can't remember, it was last week or the week before, but one of the things that we did talk about was kind of the Demon Slayer's relationship to quote unquote filler, and how we saw in the Hishira training arc how the studio has really been able to make good on that, kind of expanding on scenes that were much shorter in the original manga. So there is the possibility of doing that. The idea of having this giant trilogy where they're having all of these fights and then having a final season where, I mean, it's not much of a spoiler to say that the fights are over in that potential final season. It would be really interesting if they were to go that route, but I don't foresee them doing that. Like, I would think that they would just use these 3 movies to end the series and then just watch all the money come in, because they're gonna see a lot of money from these. I mean, maybe not Mugen Train level, but whew,
I don't know, man. They'll see a ton of money.
Yeah, and that's the other concern behind it, right? Like they get a lot of money at the box office, but there's a lot that kind of goes into actually getting into like animators' pockets and stuff like that. But even then, like on top of this, Evan, you mentioned this last week as a concern for like the worldwide distribution, right? Like it's not that this is like this is a trilogy of films that they're planning to release in theaters. And one thing that's going to, several things that are going to hinge on a successful release is not only the release schedule of these films, they kind of have to release within a year of each other in order to really hit, or either this is something that they kind of have to crunch on to like get within a couple of months of each other, something like that. Like basically they have to release close to one another in order to do the job properly, in order to really keep the hype train moving. Because, you know,
I think we're going to do like January, 4 months later, and then 4 months later, you know, that'll get them through the year.
Yeah, it's going to have to be something along those lines, as, you know, because, you know, when we get to the second movie, it's definitely going to feel like a second movie. And when we get to the first one and we end it, we're going to be like, well, we need the second one already. And then when it comes to worldwide distribution, they kind of need to follow the format of that we've had recently, where something comes out in Japan and we're lucky enough to get it within like a month or 2 months. Because once that thing hits Japan, expect to see it all over media, regardless.
Oh yeah.
That's the double-sided like blade of basically anime. Anime thrives and is so successful thanks to social media, but if you are not quick on that release, people unfortunately are going to find a way to consume that media, whether you know they should or shouldn't. I don't know. I mean, I think I speak for all 3 of us that ideally it would release same day. That's not going to happen, but you know, that would be great. Demon Slayer is too big of a property for this to not be very well considered and thought out by the teams that are going to be distributing this film, essentially. And, you know, I have entire faith in Crunchyroll. They have an excellent team that's working in their theatrical productions and distribution. It's the uncertainty right now that's killing me.
Yeah, it's the pressure of it, right? Like this is huge, and this is even more of a test than Mugen Train was. Mugen Train was kind of the shocking surprise that, oh, anime could really be successful in theaters worldwide. Like this could really be it. But so this will be the real test of anime's kind of longevity in theaters as an actual product, right? Like I hate to put it in those terms, but it's like, yeah, like, will it be able to compete with other films hitting at that time and of that scale? And this is going to be that kind of experiment, and I'm curious to see how it plays out.
That you make a great point on that, because one of the things that for the longest time, I mean, Ghibli movies were always going to hit theaters. I think that they earned that ability to do that. But like for the longest time, and I mean, this still happens, we get like Fathom events that are like a night or two, and you have to make sure that you get into the theater to see them. But now with Demon Slayer especially, and you know, Megan mentioned Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll has been on the ball with stuff like this year alone, Haikyuu, Blue Lock, you know, they had, it wasn't this year, but Dragon Ball Superhero, they brought the One Piece movies to the
family recently. I mean,
Spy Family, Code White. So it's like, yeah, Demon Slayer making Mugen Train making hundreds of millions of dollars, and then with the To the Swordsmith Village arc and To the Hishira training arc both hitting theaters, seeing these 3 movies and continuing to bring them all to North America and around the world, it's going to be really interesting to see. I think the trend is going to continue because of this.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, again, there's so much writing on the Infinity Castle. It's that arc, that saga is just, I mean, again, no spoilers, but for fans of the series who have read it, I mean, this is about as action-packed as you can get in Demon Slayer, regardless of where you side on its pacing. There's a lot of major turning points that happen in this that it's going to be so important for the fandom to stay up to date with. So keep tuned for more information about this movie trilogy as it goes live. We don't have any dates or release windows for any of this yet. UFO Table literally just said, hey, 3 movies are on the way. So we know that it'll be, coming soon. And also, as just a quick aside, I have to know, Nick, how did you like the finale of season 4? What is your what is your spoiler-free reaction?
It was fine.
Like
like
I'll take that. I will take that from you. High praise.
Like it was fine. Like it was, it's Demon Slayer. You get 5 minutes of something cool happening, and suddenly it's the best show of all time. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Now you're gonna quietly bow out from that conversation.
Yeah.
What about you, Evan?
This was my favorite episode of seasons 3 and 4, but hands down easy. This one, hands down easily. I thought that it was amazing. I thought that all of the events that happened really ratcheted up. And I've said this in the past on the podcast. I do not know what's coming. I have specifically avoided manga spoilers.
Yeah,
this was amazing to me because, again, I'm not going to spoil a lot about what happens in the episode, but I thought my original thoughts going into this final episode was that it was going to end with all the Hishira going to the Infinity Castle, and they were gonna say that in unison, not all of them being dragged into it. And once again, one of my favorite, it's no surprise to people, to my coworkers and to people that have been listening to the podcast, Inosuke is my favorite, one of my favorite anime characters of all time. And so the 30-second scene of him falling into the Infinity Castle, having no idea what's happening, having no idea the events that have transpired with the head of the Demon Slayer Corps and Muzan, seeing himself descend into this and going, I'm being dragged into a hell dimension. Let's go. Just so enthusiastic about this. And I'm just yes, this is amazing. This is one of the best cliffhangers I've seen because it's just this is a cliffhanger where it's I want to see what happens immediately. That's how I got this feeling and everything. So yeah, worked for me. Like Nick said, it's 5 minutes of wow, Demon Slayer has become the best thing. But man, those 5 minutes are really good.
those 5 minutes are exceptionally good. I mean, the animation UFO Table does, when it wants to pop off, it pops off. Again, I still think of season 4 collectively, I still think my favorite episode from the season is going to be when Tanjiro had his training session with
Tengen.
Tengen. Yeah. I was trying to, I was like, what Hashira was he? The sound Hashira. I still love that episode with Tengen. But this one was excellent. I feel like even with the extension, I don't feel like the pacing dragged as badly as I was anticipating. Except for I didn't need the Muzan repeated walk, but they spent so much effort animating that. I'll give it to them. Let them show it.
They were like, well, we might as well put it again, right? And
you worked so hard on this shot. So. Well, that is our discussion of Demon Slayer season 4 finale. And I mean, a ton of finales went live, obviously, in the last week as the spring season closed. With those finales came a ton of season renewals. So it is official. Kaiju number 8, season 2. It's a go. It's happening. Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Is it season 3?
Season 3.
Season 3.
Also, yay.
Yeah.
Season 3. season 2 just never ended. It had such
Well,
that big break, it
That
just never
long
ended.
stretch.
Yeah,
yeah,
it stretched
yeah.
hard.
I
And
ended up liking season 2 though. Like that's the thing. As much as I'll bash Demon Slayer, that first half was tough, but the second
mhm.
half was like kind of made it all full circle. So I'm ready for season 3.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
It'll be good. And then we also got an announcement for Go Go Loser Ranger season 2, which I'm so excited
Yeah.
about. I have to reiterate, it's sometimes harder to stay in tune with that show because it's, it's a Disney, it's a Hulu series. It's has no reason to be as good as it is. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching Go Go Loser Ranger. And as a little tease of what's coming at Comic Book, I recently had the chance to speak with Zeno Robinson and Paul Castro Jr., who played the two English dub leads on the anime, and had a fantastic conversation about the true appeal of bringing a show like Go Go Loser Ranger to life in the anime industry and universe, and what could be coming for season 2. So look out for that coverage on Comic Book very shortly, because it was a nice conversation. But I'm still reeling from the Kaiju number 8 finale. Like, did y'all keep
Yeah,
up with that show this season? Or
yeah,
yeah.
especially because they pulled one of those things that we complained about with Mashal before. We remember when
Mhm.
Mashal was like, we have a sequel coming, and it's not clear whether it's a season 2 or like something else. Kaiju number 8 did that same thing where it's
Yeah.
very clear that it's going to be a season 2 just because of what arcs are coming next. But they were like, it's a sequel. And I just wanted to put that out there. Once again, that's just one of my annoying pet peeves that anime does when it announces things, because then you have shows like Go Go Loser Ranger outright saying, yeah, season 2, or
Mhm.
yeah, season 3 for Mushoku Tensei. So just outright say it. But Kaiju number 8 ended well for me. That was the one where I enjoyed thoroughly all the way through. I'm
Yeah.
Mhm.
excited. You get Gen Narumi, who's voiced by Koki Uchiyama, who fans might know as Tomoro Shigaraki in My Hero Academia. So like,
Mhm.
cool voice there. He's going to play a huge part in what's to come.
Yeah.
And and now at the end of the first season, Kafka, his identity was revealed. I won't say what comes after that because that was in the penultimate episode, but his
Mhm.
identity is revealed. Some stuff happens, and now it's setting up for like a season 2 where now he's gonna fight more kaijus. We're getting more numbers. Let's just say that.
I agree with you completely, Nick, on it. I thought that this was a series that needed a strong showing for its anime adaptation, and Production
Mhm.
IG gave them a really strong showing. I think that like IG has become kind of like in a similar, I think that like for us and for the anime community as a whole, I think a lot of studios like Mappa or Toei Animation, they get a lot of they have some of the bigger franchises, so they get a lot of eyes on them. But I think it would do a disservice to like the animators that we didn't recognize IG, because man, they create a lot of amazing stuff. And like they're also doing like Kinnikuman and Terminator this year.
Mhm.
I would love for them to come back to Heavenly Delusion, because that was one of my favorites of last year.
So
Um
Yeah.
good. Another
so
show
so
that
good, and that really
don't
went
die.
that really went under the radar for a lot of people. But
That
Kaiju
was a
number, I'm
Disney show,
happy.
right? For
Yeah. I
streaming?
mean,
Yeah.
that's that same thing as like Undead
Mhm.
Unluck, and other things that showed
It's
up
the
on
Go-Go
Hulu and
Loser Ranger
Disney.
thing. Where
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
the Go
Go-Go,
Go
Yeah.
like
Loser Ranger
that
thing again.
that show came out, and people watched it or they didn't. And unfortunately, many people didn't because they didn't know it was on. It's the same thing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Mission Yozakura Family, which is starting its second core this summer. But I probably just mentioned that, and people are like, "What show is that he just
Yeah.
mentioned?" So it's like it. It was stuck to the Hulu thing. I'm glad Go-Go is breaking out of it though.
Mhm.
It's Go-Go was another one that like it had a rough patch in the middle because the whole like training thing arc where he was like meeting a bunch of cadets and you're introduced to like 20 new characters, and they were like in a like a parking garage for like 5-6 episodes straight. It's the wrong lessons to learn from Power Rangers, right? Like, yeah, they always fight in
Mhm.
quarries and parking lots and stuff like that, but that's the wrong lesson to take. They're only in those quarries for like 5 minutes an episode, and then next week it's something new. So basically, it all came around to like be good again. So I'm excited for season 2. This is just all great stuff, and I can't. I'm excited for the Hulu future. Let's just hope they tell people they have shows.
Yep.
I know. Here at Compact.com, we're doing our best. We're out here
We're
screaming to
trying.
the trenches.
Yes.
So much that's what we'll do, and I will do it proudly for all the shows that are not getting the attention they deserve. But with this news about all of the season renewals we've been given, it's time for us to wrap up this first half of the episode. As a quick note before we head into our discussion of the summer 2024 season, as it is now here, we are like hours, days out from Anime Expo. I will be on a plane tomorrow to Los Angeles, where I will be enthralled in all things otaku, as Megan the Stallion would say. There's a ton of news that's going to be announced, tons of interviews that I will be doing with some excellent talent while I am in Los Angeles. So this is our announcement that on Sunday we will be having a special episode of Anime Initiative where we will be going over the highlights and the lows of Anime Expo 2024. So if you are interested in knowing basically everything that's going to happen between like Thursday and Sunday, tune into our special. It'll be Sunday afternoon around there. So just keep an eye on us. But for now, we got to pay for the show, pay our bills. But when we come back, all three of us are going to be talking about the summer season and what we are looking forward to the most. So stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to Anime Initiative, ComicBook's best and only place where we talk all things anime and manga. We are back with our episode, and we are here to talk about the summer anime season. July 1st marks the beginning of the summer core, and traditionally in the anime industry, the summer is a busy season. There's a lot of shows, both that tend to continue from the spring and also brand new premieres. So here in this episode, myself, Evan, and Nick, we are going to be talking about some of the biggest new series that are going to be dropping this season. And one of them's already premiered. It already went live. It didn't wait. Suicide Squad Isekai is live. We have the first 3 episodes streaming, right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, first
right.
3 episodes are on Max. Yep,
Nick,
and Hulu.
I need to know what
Max
you think about it,
Hulu.
because you've been on the Suicide Squad Isekai train hard. I need to know how are you feeling about it?
Yes, as our resident isekai, I guess that is my beat in terms of what I cover here at Comic Book. If there's an isekai show, I have seen it just because, who knows what it could offer. And thankfully, this one turned out to be awesome already. So Suicide Squad Isekai is written by ReZero's original light novel creator. So that's why it's already got good writing. On top of that, it's animated or produced by Wit Studio, which is the studio behind Attack on Titan's first seasons, Vinland Saga, Ranking of Kings, all that good stuff. That's why it looks good. It looks good and it sounds good. And of course, you have a new version of DC Comics famous Suicide Squad Rogues, and I'm loving it. I definitely want to know what Evan and you and Evan think, Megan, because I'm just loving it. I love that they, it's basically what it says. Like they are in just another world. And, you know, I particularly like Clayface. He's my favorite so far because Clayface is the very meta. He understands what isekai is. And like he says, this is the isekai. He tells them what it is. Like he's the one giving the exposition on that front. But then also there's that little bit of bump that they get, their powers get boosted by the magic of that world, which is such a cool idea. Like to like kind of level the playing field, right? I don't know. What do you guys think?
So I'm gonna take off my anime fan hat and I'm gonna put on my comic book fan hat for this one. So because I'm gonna look at this from the perspective of a DC comic book fan. I thought that I agree with you totally, Nick, on it. I thought that one of the really cool things about this is that, like, again, Clayface is the MVP. Oh my God, he's amazing. Where he feels like the person who is explaining what an anime is to audiences. But this also surprisingly, because I was surprised at the sheer number of like references to like DC Universe stuff that they had. There is a line in this where they do say, are we some kind of Suicide Squad, which is clearly a reference to the original film from David Ayer. I appreciated it, but it also has a lot of other DC characters that I really was not expecting to appear in this. They do allude to the idea, much like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, that there was another Suicide Squad that was sent in before this current one. And so without going into spoilers of who makes up that roster, they do give hints as to who is also there with them. And also, can we just get a round of applause for the Joker's? It's on the screen. The Joker's piano car. What an amazing! I loved that piano car where he's playing the piano and it makes it go fast. Amazing. But I think that like this has a lot to offer for fans of like isekai and anime in general, but also like, if you're a DC Comics fan and you don't typically, watch anime in general, this feels like a good jumping on point because it does have a lot to kind of blend those worlds together.
Yeah.
I have to jump off on that point because again, I will wear both my anime fan hat and my comic book fan. I'm gonna wear two hats. Hatception. I obviously love anime. My husband loves anime. We love this show. The episodes we've seen in Suicide Squad Isekai, it is the wildest mashup. Again, I've said it before, never would have seen this coming, but it works so well because of this team. But now that these first episodes are able to be, streamed, I've had several friends of mine from like my comic book collecting days who, they couldn't tell you the difference between, any shoujo or shonen. They love Suicide Squad Isekai. And asking when's episode 4, when's the next episode's dropping. They love it, and that for me is really the telltale sign of success, that it's able to have that kind of cross demographic appeal. It is an incredibly fun show. Whether or not you like anime, if you're listening to this podcast, I can only assume you like it a little bit.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
But you know what? Even if you're on the fence and you really love DC Comics, this show really does capture the spirit of kind of the Suicide Squad as we best know it these days, of its most modern iteration. And it pairs it beautifully with anime. So I love this show. It is streaming now. When did the new episodes start coming on?
Wednesdays.
No, they come out on Thursdays.
Thursdays. Okay.
Yes. And Warner Brothers Japan has announced that the English dub release is coming sometime this week. They have not set a date, but they have announced that the dub is coming. So for those waiting for that particular release, cross your fingers that we'll get it soon. And we don't know the cast yet either. So that's all still a mystery. I'm very excited for that. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this to be that crossover. We were just talking about this in the first half of like, anime is here. And now we just need to take over the comic book space as well,
Just continue. I did want to. It's
over for everyone when Deadpool Samurai gets an anime.
Oh man! Oh, that's totally gonna happen.
When Deadpool Samurai happens, over.
That's totally. I did want to reference. We had a comment from Why Wait Chris in the comments where he said any DC animation usually hits. I agree. I think DC animated movies and DC has had animated movies that specifically focus on the Suicide Squad, such as Suicide Squad Hell to Pay and Suicide Squad Attack on Arkham Asylum, and both of those are really solid. And I would put this on the same level as those so far from what we've seen.
Yeah,
we'll see how it
10
sticks
episodes
the
of
landing.
this.
We're
10
episodes.
10 episodes of this. The ending has Amanda Waller dancing. If that's something you want to see,
I know
that has gone the most viral.
Yeah, Amanda Waller. Love it or hate it. That's the ending. So Suicide Squad is streaming. You can find it on Max. New episodes are going live on Thursdays, so please be sure to tune in. Moving on to our next episodes on the list, or not our next episodes, our next summer series to pay attention to. One of my most anticipated series, Oshinoko. It's coming back, season 2, after its intensely viral and successful first season. Oshinoko season 2 is coming out, and it's coming out tomorrow. It will go live on July 3rd. So if you are wanting to follow up with Ruby and Aqua and their journey through the trials, tribulations, and also the dark side of fame, the show will be going live on July 3rd. If you're listening to this on the day of its release, this episode, it'll be live tomorrow. So make sure you pay attention. And it will be streaming exclusively on High Dive. So I'm very excited. I don't know how y'all feel about Oshinoko, but I'm ready.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of episodes of the first season, and like I understand the appeal of it. I think that like one of the things, the best way to kind of sell it is that like it's a less brutal Perfect Blue, I guess. Like I guess that's kind of
I can see where you're coming from with that.
Kind of a less brutal Perfect Blue, a more brutal Agretsuko season 3 or 4. But there's a reason why this has really taken off in terms of popularity and why the series has gotten a fandom like it has. The story's really solid. It does a lot of interesting, like on paper it sounds super weird, but like the characters are really solid, and they introduce a lot of concepts, a lot of dark concepts about like the world of idols and, you know, some of how dangerous that can be, and celebrity in general. So like for those who look at this and think like, oh, it's a show about idols, like it's a lot more than that. And this is as someone who doesn't necessarily watch a lot of stuff with idols in it, but like I think it does a really good job of creating an interesting and engaging story. Like I think this from everything that was set up in season 1, I think it works well in that respect.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, Oshinoko is written by Aka Akasaka, who is the creator of Kaguya-sama Love is War. Those two series could not be more different.
Could not be more
different. But they do have that really great layered storytelling. So if you are wanting to watch it, July 3rd, High Dive. Make sure you're paying attention. Now, to go to jump into Shonen Jump as we do. We also have the Elusive Samurai that's coming out this summer. I believe it is going live in Japan on July 6th. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't know where it's streaming, do we? I wasn't able to find that information.
Yeah, as of this recording, I have not seen a streaming service announce that it's licensed it yet. This could still change. You know,
better change. It looks good.
Yeah, like that's the thing. We want to mention it here because it's the newest Shonen Jump anime of the season. It is from the creator behind Assassination Classroom. So if you like that series, you'll like this series' approach to like battles in terms of like, you know, because the main character isn't fighting directly. He's kind of, his skills are like running and hiding. So it's a whole thing, and you know, a fantastic fantasy period piece. So it's got a lot of stuff that should appeal. We just need to know where to watch it, and unfortunately, we just don't know yet as of this recording.
When we find out, though, you can bet we will be shouting it to the high heavens, both on this podcast and at comicbook.com, because we would really like to know. We'd like to know where it's going to be, but we do know it will be premiering in Japan on July 6th. So, you know, there's at least that, I guess. So moving forward until we have more information on the Elusive Samurai, we have another nice little fantasy series going live on July 7th. And just a heads up, there's a ton of shows going live on July 7th for this summer season. So just go ahead and mark on your calendars that you're going to be home all day watching anime because Wisteria Wand and Sword is going to be making its premiere on July 7th. For those who don't know, the creator of Wisteria Wand and Sword is Fujino Omori, who is the writer of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? So if you are familiar with that series, there's going to be some kind of overlapping layering in this series. And I have to be honest, I don't really know much about Wisteria Wand and Sword other than what I have seen in the trailer, and it looks super cute. Do either of you have any extra context to this series?
So it's basically got the Black Clover hook, where the main character, his whole thing is that he wants to join this prestigious magic academy because he's got this dream of like becoming I forget the exact reason why. Unfortunately, he wants to be like the best magician, yada yada yada, et cetera, set up, right? But the whole thing here is that he has no aptitude for it, and thus he needs to fight monsters in a dungeon. Basically, his new job for the school is like the lowest ranked job of like clearing out monsters in a basement, basically. And through there, it's a lot of sword fighting and becoming the best swordsman, etc., set up Black Clover vibes. So this is hopefully like, hopefully it has the good action to go along with the premise. And it's not the most original, but also, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing either. I've seen so many shows that I've watched all the way through that like did not have original premises, but I still loved,
Look, I'm always going to be a sucker for like a magical fantasy series. Like I know what, like obviously Black Clover has gone beyond that kind of trope, interest. But like when Black Clover was first coming out, I was like, wizards, magic, shonen, count me in. So Wisteria Wand and Sword is going to get that from me. It also just looks really pretty. The trailer looks great. So I'm really hoping those visuals hold up. So we will find that out on July 7th. Also on July 7th, another magical series is coming to life, but it's not new to us. If you are true to anime, you will know because Fairy Tail is coming back. Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest is making its premiere on July 7th. Now, if you are not caught up with Fairy Tail like I am, as I was obsessed with that show as a younger otaku, Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest is basically the direct sequel to the original Fairy Tail manga and anime as we have seen it. It is not drawn by Hiro Mashima, who is the series creator, but it is written and storyboarded by him. So everything that you get from Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest is incredibly canon, and it continues the story of Natsu and his friends as they take basically one of the most difficult missions that a mage can take or a wizard can take. They're going to take a 100-year quest, which will send them to a new land outside of the one that they are used to being in. And without getting into spoilers from the manga, we meet a whole bunch of awesome dragons and a whole bunch of political drama comes to life. Plus, it turns out there is some drama back at home while Natsu is gone, as the Fairy Tail Guild welcomes a new member who is definitely more mysterious than they seem. So, again, I just kind of outed myself. I really do love Fairy Tail. It's like junk food for me, I can't say no. I love it so much. Are y'all excited for Fairy Tail's return?
Yeah, I mean, if you love Fairy Tail, this is more of it, and it's going to be great. Like, and the thing with Fairy Tail is this sequel also confirms, like, makes some big moves in relationships that fans saw in that first series. Yeah. Like, we get some developments here, so that's also part of the appeal. Is that Fairy Tail is one of the rare series to be like, oh, if a character becomes a couple, they actually advance as a couple in some ways. So we'll see that happen. We'll see some other stuff. We'll see dragons on par with Acnolia, where Acnologia, who was like, they took a whole squad of like dragon took a lot to beat one. So like we're getting like 5 more, I think was part of the quest. And if you like Fairy Tail, this is more of it. So can't wait.
with so many shonen series also like in their final sagas, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. It kind of warms your heart to see like some that are continuing via sequels and everything. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
sure.
It's one.
Yeah.
It's just a comfort food. That's what it
It's a,
is. It's
yeah,
a comfort
exactly.
food for the oldies who grew up on it. So that will be going live on July 7th. Also on July 7th is just kind of a quick note. Tower of God season 2. It's coming back. Well, I mean, Tower of God is season 2 is new. That's the new part. It will be going live on July 7th over on Crunchyroll, and also maybe my most anticipated anime of the summer, My Dear Friend Nokotan, is
Yes,
going live
Megan.
on the 7th.
Also mine.
It is. There are very few words that can describe what My Dear Friend Nokotan is. Essentially, it follows, a high school girl, very beautiful, very popular, very kind of, blasé about the world until they meet a very strange half deer, half hybrid girl who this beauty from high school saves. This new dear friend girl transfers to her high school, and they go on some of the wildest, wackiest, surprising, like no words to describe adventures, hijinks. This is definitely the comedy that everyone is going to be looking to for the summer season. That will be going live on July 7th. So I'm so ready. I'm so ready
Well,
to see what
yeah,
it does.
like the hook there is that she's a delinquent. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. Is that the main character is a former delinquent trying to keep her secret, and then this deer
Oh yeah.
comes and kind of ruins
Yankee
her
vibe.
life. So yeah, like this whole, and it's anime, or once again produced by Wit Studio, which we just mentioned is like behind like Suicide Squad Isekai. So like
Mhm.
take that level of skill from those animators and put it towards comedy, and we've got something special here. Like the opening's already a meme. Unfortunately, I don't
Yeah.
think we can
Oh,
play the
yeah.
clip here because of like, but there's a meme. There's a 10-hour version of like
Mhm.
a 30-second clip of a song, or not even 30 seconds. I think it's like 2 seconds. It's a simple phrase, but there's a 10-hour version of that phrase already online. It's like, it's wild, and I can't wait to see what this is. Yeah.
My
Man,
favorite thing
they
is
had me.
I was gonna say my favorite thing is the creator of My Dear Friend Nokotan posted on Twitter after like the trailer opening for the anime like crossed like 1 million or whatever reviews, and the creator of the manga and went, "What's wrong with you guys?"
Why is this
Yeah.
happening?
He's
Oh
like,
my
"Why
god,
is
so
this
good.
what's wrong with you people?" So I
Man,
need this show to be a success just to see the creator's reaction.
they had me when they were just like, all will be deer.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
That
will be
opening
deer.
thing. I was just
That's
like,
gonna that's
man,
gonna be
yep.
it. That's gonna be the tattoo. That's gonna be the anime tattoo of the season. All will be deer. So moving past July 7th, finally, as we move into July 8th, Nick must be excited because Kinnikuman's Perfect Origin arc will begin its premiere over on Netflix. Isn't that right?
Yeah, like for the celebrating the 40th anniversary of the original anime, Kaneko Man Perfect Origin is picking up right where, oh man, there's like a sequel series that they kind of did,
Mhm.
and like wherever the previous anime left off, this one's picking right back up. It's starting with a special recap episode, so thankfully it'll kind of get us back up to speed. But basically, it's Ultimate Muscle in HD. So, like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Let's go. That is what we are here for.
Yeah.
Kinnikuman Man is one of those properties like Case Closed and Lupin the Third that I feel like has been running for a really long time, is way more popular in Japan than it is here. But like for wrestling fans, which me and Nick are, like it is kind of one of those things where it's like, you ever wanted to see aliens in the wrestling ring, then like this is the show for you. And once
Yep.
again, Production IG is going to be animating this one, or at least has a hand in it, so I'm excited to see it arrive on Netflix.
It'll be good. And as just kind of a quick wrap up for some of the other shows that we have coming in July or at some point in this summer season, No Longer Allowed in Another World is another isekai title that will be going live on July 9th. We have some other series that are going to be coming live, like Near Automata. I never say that right.
Yeah,
Ever. I don't think I've ever said that anime title correctly on the first try once in my life. The Nier Automata anime is returning for its second core. We also have Too Many Losing Heroines, Plus Sized Elf, and Dungeon People all going live in this summer season. Then once August begins, because Netflix isn't quite as beholden to the core scheduling that anime fans are used to, my favorite show, Kimi ni Todoki, is returning. I'm so excited. It's been so long since I've gotten to see my little romance shoujo series. Season 3 is going live. So excited. Seasons 1 and 2 of Kimi ni Todoke are also available on Netflix now, so you can get in on all of the adorable action. That's all I will say about that, but it is coming in August on Netflix. So, as you can tell, we have a super busy summer lineup. I know there's a lot here. I just said it myself. My top show is absolutely going to be Kimi ni Todoke, but it is followed really closely by my dear friend Nokotan. Nick, what show are you most looking forward to?
Man, I'm already starting to get it with Suicide Squad Isekai. So that's the thing. It's Suicide Squad Isekai and then Kinnikuman, of course. But I am very interested in my dear friend Nokotan as well. And before we wrap this up, shout out to some of the spring shows that came out that I didn't really get to talk about at length. But Konosuba, great. I reincarnated as the Seventh Prince, so I perfected my magical ability. Surprisingly great. Chilling in another world with my level 2 powers, great. So just all titles that I'm like tongue twisting over here for, but just great stuff. If there's nothing this summer to like grab your attention for whatever reason, please go check out those shows. Catch up on the spring, catch up on the winter season too. Like there's a lot to watch, and it's a great time.
Awesome. And Evan, what are you looking most forward to?
I would be boring and say Suicide Squad Isekai. I think I really
That's
have
not
had
a boring answer.
I have had a lot of fun with it, but I will also say that I love the Nier video game franchise. So being able to see Nier Automata 1.1 version A XYZ, all that other stuff. However, man, it's tough to like. And even if you do like that series as a video game, it is really tough to wrap your head around all of the lofty ideas and everything. So I'm also looking forward to that. And yeah, and also Kinnikuman, Ultimate Muscle. I think I can't wait to watch that as someone who is very much a self-professed Baki and fighting anime in general fan. I'll look forward to watching aliens fighting each other in a wrestling ring. Can't wait.
Well, there you have it. Those are our recommendations here from the Anime Initiative team at comicbook.com. We want to know what you think. We want to know what you're going to be watching. So please leave us some reviews wherever you watch or listen to this podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it may be. Leave us a comment, let us know, drop us a rating, ask us questions about anime. All three of us, that's what we love to do. It's talk about anime and manga and all of those fun nerdy things. So thank you for listening to this episode of Anime Initiative. If you want even more geek news, Comic Book has you covered. We have our flagship podcast, Comic Book Nation, where we talk all things nerdy. We also have other series like Quick Save, The Pull List, A Wild Podcast has appeared, Phase Zero. There's so many podcasts we have, as well as live recaps and specials. So please be sure to check out what else we have going on. Here at Anime Initiative, we are preparing for Anime Expo, so please turn into our special for that. And if you want to contact any of us, myself, Evan, Nick, you can find us on social media. You can find me at Megan Peters CB. Evan, where can they find you?
You can find me on the social medias at EV Comedy.
And Nick, what about you?
You can find me at Valdizology on all the socials, as well as Pop Culture Social Call with Anna Rumor.
Awesome. Well, that is all we have for the day. A busy episode. Thank you for listening. And most importantly, thank you for joining the Anime Initiative. See you later.